Hey, that intro song is by Skatoon Network. He's fucking awesome. Go listen to all of his music, please.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Life Made Easy. And today, guys, I'm bringing you another comparison video when it comes to gaming hardware. My previous video, I compared console and PCs and why PC was better. I gave you top 5 reasons. This video, I'm going to be doing top 5 reasons why console gaming is better than PC gaming.
And this has gone so well for everyone who's done this. I am so excited.
Consoles specifically, like Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One compared to PC gaming.
Wait, what other consoles are there?
So without further ado, let's hop into the top 5 reasons. Okay, guys, so coming in at the first reason why console gaming is better than PC gaming, and that's going to be the lack of intelligence that you need for console gaming.
Whoa! We're just getting right into it, Jesus.
And I don't say this in an insulting way.
Are you sure?
I just say that it is better for the consumer to understand console gaming, usually pertaining to younger kids.
This is actually true. It is really important for the consumer to understand what they're buying. But that's also part of the reason why a lot of people don't like console gaming, because it can be harder to understand what you're spending money on when you're buying it from a massive corporation that likes to stretch the truth about things. Wasn't the Xbox One X supposed to do 4K 60? Wasn't the Xbox One, just the original Xbox One, wasn't that supposed to be strong? Like, period? Yeah, it is important for the consumers to understand what they're buying, but it can be kind of difficult to do that when the corporations don't really want you to know what they're buying. They want to give you little shreds of information and let you spread the word and stretch the truth for them. We saw that all over the place about the Xbox One X, and now that the new Xbox and PlayStations are going to be coming out or going to be announced soon, you're going to be seeing a lot of that. You're already seeing some of it. There are people saying that the new Xbox is going to be more powerful than a 2080 Ti. Like, come on, guys. It is important for the consumer to know what they're buying, but that's kind of hard to do in the modern console AAA gaming world.
Because the main reason for this is that console gaming in itself just works.
I love absolutes, don't you? They're always great. Just like how consoles always work.
There's no looking into detailed PC specs to make sure your computer has the right specifications to play a specific game, make sure that you can get a good enough FPS and that your hardware can match the game.
Your hardware can match the game. I'm learning so much from this video.
And how much performance you need in your PC to actually run the game at a good frame rate. Console gaming, you just put in the disc and it's going to run 60 frames per second.
All right, you know what? Let's just rewind this whole thing.
Console gaming in itself just works.
No, it doesn't. Not all the time.
There's no looking into detailed PC specs to make sure your computer has the right specifications.
Yes, this is true. Console gaming does not require you to look into the specs of things. However, there are 2 problems with what you just said. 1, this means that the console games are locked at a certain performance and you can do nothing to change them, make them better. There's nothing you can do about it. It is the way it is, and if it sucks, you have to deal with it. While on the PC, you can change settings, you can change specs, you can make the game better, you have mods to improve performance. There's a lot of things you can do with it. But my other problem with what you just said here is you seem to think that checking the specs of a game to see if it'll run takes longer than 5 seconds, because that's usually how long it takes. You just look at the minimum required specs and you're like, yep, I got those. Let's play.
To play a specific game, make sure that you can get a good enough FPS.
Again, we can change things to make whatever FPS a good enough FPS. But on the console, if you don't like the FPS, well, that sucks. You gotta deal with it.
And that your hardware can match the game.
Your hardware can match the game.
And how much performance you need in your PC to actually run the game at a good frame rate. Console gaming, you just put in the disc and it's going to run.
After hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of installing and updating.
60 frames per second, basically all the time.
No, absolutely not. This is a tech channel, by the way. Nowadays, you're lucky if a AAA game comes out and it actually runs locked at 60 frames per second.
Okay, so the second reason why console gaming is better than PC gaming is when it comes to AAA titles. Now, I mentioned back in the PC versus console and why PC was better, that PC was better because it had a bigger library of games, because it had like the Steam library and the other libraries like the Epic Games launcher.
Epic Games launcher.
Library, tons of games out there, tons of indie games. The main reason that console is better in this case, though, is that console tends to have more AAA titles coming out for them.
Actually, this isn't really that accurate anymore. It used to be, but now we have better support for things like PS Now. And we have Xbox putting all their exclusives onto the PC, and they're porting their older exclusives like Sunset Overdrive and the Master Chief Collection. Those are coming to PC now. It used to be an advantage that consoles had better AAA support, but really the number of AAA games that PC doesn't have and consoles do, that number is getting smaller and smaller. I mean, really, what AAA games do consoles have that PCs don't now? There's probably a few PlayStation games, but even PlayStation's starting to show that they're bringing their games to the PC. Now, when it comes to actually supporting the AAA games, you have a little bit more of a case to make here. I would have liked to see you elaborate on this a little more. Because, yes, for the most part, AAA developers tend to support their games post-launch better on the consoles than the PC because they know that the console market is where they make most of their sales, generally speaking. It's one of the reasons why I quit buying new Call of Duty games, is because I switched over to PC and they don't give a fuck about PC. They release the game and that's pretty much the end of the story. You had a case to make here that AAA games tend to be more supported post-launch on consoles than PCs, but, I mean, I don't think you actually understand this as much as you think you do.
This isn't the case for every game, but most of the time, AAA titles are more prioritized for console gaming, not PC gaming. So sometimes you go on the PC store and you won't see specific AAA games, and they're probably on console in that case.
Can you give examples of a AAA game or an abundance of AAA games that you're making it out to be that are on consoles and not PCs?
Okay, so the third reason why...
No? All right. Just kind of go right past that. Cool, let's do it.
Console gaming is better. This is actually, in my last video, I said that PC gaming can be cheaper. Specifically, I used the word can. If you want to buy a cheap PC, that is possible. You can afford a cheap PC to run games.
So if you can afford a cheap PC, why is this on the negative list?
That is less expensive than console. However, when it comes to consoles, it's usually a set price.
Well, yeah, it's a set price, but you just said we can go cheaper than that, which is true. So what's the problem here?
Usually $300-400 for a PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, somewhere in that price range. And you're going to be getting specific performance for that price. It's not going to change. It's going to be good performance for that price. So when you're buying a PC for at that price range, it tends not to run too well. FPS can be a little shaky here and there. So
I would actually argue that if you do a little bit of research when you're making a cheap PC, you can absolutely get good performance. I brought up the GTX 1050 in one of the previous videos that I've done. That was the first card I ever had, and that you can get that card for what, $120, $130 now? And this card can just be plugged right into almost any motherboard without any additional power. This is just a card that you spend $100 and something on. You plug it into a computer that you probably already have in your house. Maybe upgrade the CPU if you want for another $50, $60, $70. And then bam, you got a gaming PC for under $200. And I can tell you from experience that the GTX 1050 will run games better than the console. If you are really on a budget and still want to run games better than the console, that is absolutely an option on the PC.
Console gaming at that price is usually better in terms of performance than PC.
Actually, no. If you know where to look for specs, no.
Not all the times, I'm just saying most of the time.
And I'm saying no.
There are exceptions for everything. If you can find a really good build, that's possible, but in this case, console gaming is generally cheaper. Okay, so guys, the fourth reason why console gaming is better is just the overall environment when it comes to console gaming. Usually console gaming, you set it up in your living room, family room, something like that. Big, wide, 4K TV,
Because 4K gaming is something that consoles are just so good at.
so that people can come over and play with you. It's a much better environment. PC is much more serious in the case that you're sitting down at your desk.
I mean, you can be sitting down at your desk with a console, and you can also have a PC out in the living room to play with people using controllers. You're a tech channel, right?
Your PC is usually under your desk or something like that. Console gaming, just got your console out, plugged it in your TV. Everyone can enjoy it. Good for like social events, stuff like that. If you wanna spend time with friends.
Yeah, and local multiplayer games on the modern consoles, man, those are just everywhere. Wait.
Actually, with your friends instead of just playing online. So console gaming does most of the time have a better environment. You can't really have that sort of social environment with PC gaming. It doesn't really work like that.
Well, it does work like that, and I work it like that. Every so often I have my cousins over to come play Melee on my PC with the Dolphin emulator. Or maybe I'll have them over to play Rocket League on my PC. There are plenty of local multiplayer games on the PC. In fact, there are more local multiplayer games on the PC than there are consoles. And if you want to have your PC out in the living room, yeah, go for it. That's an option that the PC affords you. Honestly, I'm not sure why console players keep bringing up local multiplayer as an advantage, because it's pretty obvious that local multiplayer is not really a strength of the consoles anymore. It used to be, yeah, absolutely it used to be. But when's the last time a really good local multiplayer game came out? And how long was the gap between that game and the last good local multiplayer game on the consoles?
Because you can't have multiple mice playing at the same time. That just doesn't work these days. And yeah, multiple controllers is usually ideal for social environment. Okay, so the last one is very subjective.
I mean, all of these have been kind of subjective.
Very controversial. This can go either way, but I'm just going to be making the point for this video for those who are agreeing with me.
Man, you are building this one up. Let's hear it, dude. Let's do it. I can handle it. You're building this up. I can handle it.
And that is that this is hard, but
I believe in you, dude. I believe in you. You can do it, bro. I believe. Get it out. Let's go. Let's go.
Controllers are better than PC or mouse and keyboard. I'm sorry.
Now I see why it was so hard for you to say that.
Now, I know this is not true in every case. I know you can aim better on Fortnite with your mouse and keyboard.
You can aim better in everything with your mouse and keyboard.
Like Tfue can, but for the average player, controller is better just because it's really simple to use and it does not take a while to learn, like PC mouse and keyboard.
The learning curve of mouse and keyboard is blown so out of proportion by console players. But if you really want to use a controller, you can use a controller on the PC and then have all the advantages of the PC while using a controller. You're a Fortnite player, you know Nick Merckx, right? And Aiden. Those guys are controller players on PC and they're killing it. If you want to use a controller, just use a controller on PC and have the best of both worlds. The desire to use a controller shouldn't be a point to draw you from the PC to the consoles, because it's not something that's exclusive to consoles. Nowadays, you would be hard-pressed to find a PC game that doesn't have controller support.
So with that, I know I'm going to get comments saying that they don't agree with me on that.
And you're going to get more than that from me.
Specific one, because that's very subjective. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel.
Look, if you're going to be a tech channel, then be a tech channel. Don't be making videos like this trying to persuade people with false arguments. Look, you can play on whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I don't care what you play on. But when you present yourself as a tech channel, or you present yourself as someone who knows what they're talking about, and then you just start spouting just blatantly wrong things, and possibly persuading people who don't know any better to go to the other side when the first side was the one that would have suited them better, that's when I'm gonna take issue, man. Anyways, that's gonna be all from me. Thank you guys for sticking through the channel through all the DMCA shit. Hopefully that's over. At the time that I'm recording this video, we're still in the thick of it, but hopefully that'll be over soon, and we can all move on with our lives, yeah? Toodles.